Before you bring aloe vera home, picture this. You find the perfect little plant at the store. Thick green leaves, clean white pot, that calm, healthy, I have my life together look. You put it on your kitchen windowsill, give it a little water, maybe imagine using a fresh leaf one day after a tiny kitchen burn. And then, a few weeks later, one of the leaves feels soft, not dry, not crispy, soft, almost like the plant is collapsing from the inside. That is the strange thing about aloe vera. It is sold as one of the easiest houseplants on earth, the plant you can't kill, the plant for beginners, the plant for people who forget they even own plants. But for the wrong home and the wrong kind of person, aloe vera can be surprisingly easy to destroy. And no, that does not mean aloe is a bad plant. It is beautiful and forgiving in the right conditions, but it is not magic. It is not a decoration that happens to be alive. It has preferences, strong ones. So before you buy one, or before you buy another one because the last one randomly died, here are 7 reasons aloe vera might not be right for you. The first reason is simple. You might not want aloe vera if you show love with water. I know, watering feels like care. It feels like doing something. You see a plant sitting there looking quiet, and your brain starts whispering, maybe it needs a little drink. So you pour some water in. Then a few days later, you pour a little more, just to be safe. And because aloe vera is a succulent, it can hide the problem for a while. It sits there looking mostly fine, while the soil underneath stays wet for far too long. Aloe stores water in its leaves. Those thick leaves are basically its survival tank. This is a plant built to handle dry stretches, not a pot that stays damp because Sunday is watering day. That is the painful part. You are not being careless, you are being sweet. But aloe does not read intention, it reads moisture. If the soil is still wet, more water is not kindness, it is pressure. The roots sit in a heavy, airless mix. They lose the dry pocket of oxygen they need, and slowly the plant that was supposed to be easy starts to soften near the base. A leaf turns watery, the center feels loose, the whole plant looks like it is still standing, but something underneath has already gone wrong. You touch it and think, wait, is this supposed to feel like that? No. A healthy aloe leaf should feel firm, not rock hard, not brittle, but full, like the leaf has structure inside. If your natural instinct is to water every plant on a schedule, aloe vera may frustrate you, not because it is difficult, but because it asks you to do the hardest thing for a caring person. Leave it alone. Check the soil, let it dry, wait longer than feels comfortable, especially indoors where there's less light, less airflow, and no hot sun pulling moisture away. Aloe is not asking for constant attention, it is asking for restraint. The second reason is light. Aloe is often placed in those easy plant displays that make it feel like it can live almost anywhere. On a desk, in a bathroom, on a shelf behind the couch. But there is a big difference between a plant surviving in a spot and a plant actually looking good there. Aloe vera wants bright, generous light indoors, usually bright, indirect light. A very bright window can be wonderful, and gentle morning sun may work well if the plant is adjusted to it slowly. But a dark shelf? That is where aloe starts becoming a weird version of itself. It may lean, it may stretch, the leaves may grow thinner, weaker, and paler, reaching toward the nearest window like the plant is trying to escape your decor choices. And look, we have all done this. You buy a plant because you have a perfect empty spot, not because the plant has a perfect place to live. It looks amazing on that floating shelf for the first month, then one day it looks stretched, awkward, tired, like it is standing on tiptoe, begging for the sun. That does not mean you failed. It means the location was chosen for the room, not for the plant. If your home is genuinely low light, aloe vera may not be your easiest option. You can use a grow light, sure, but if you do not want extra lights, timers, cords, and a whole little setup just to keep one succulent happy, you may be better off choosing a plant that handles dim rooms with less drama. Aloe vera is simple in a bright home. In a dark home, it becomes a negotiation. The third reason is the pot. This is where aesthetics get people. You find a gorgeous ceramic pot, you drop the aloe in, step back, and it looks perfect. Except there is no drainage hole, and the soil is that dense, dark, all-purpose mix that came with the plant. Now you have created a beautiful little swamp with spikes. Aloe vera does not need a dramatic, expensive setup, but it does need a pot and a soil mix that let water move through and air get back in. A drainage hole is not a small detail. For aloe, it can be the difference between drying out and sitting in a hidden puddle. The tricky part is that the danger is invisible. From the outside, everything looks elegant. The surface may look dry, but deeper down around the roots, the mix can still be damp. So you water again, and the cycle repeats. This is also common when people use a pot that is too large. Bigger feels generous, right? More room, more soil, more space to grow. But for a succulent indoors, too much extra soil can stay wet much longer than the roots can handle. The plant is sitting in a moisture reservoir it never asked for. There is a simple fix, though. Keep the plant in a nursery pot with drainage, then place that inside the decorative pot. After watering, let it drain fully and never let water collect at the bottom of the outer pot. Or choose terracotta with a fast-draining cactus or succulent mix. Terracotta is not magic, but it can help the mix dry faster. Less glamorous? Maybe, but your aloe will care more about oxygen around its roots than the vibe of the shelf. The fourth reason is pets. This is not meant to scare you. It is meant to save you from that horrible little moment when you catch your cat casually chewing a leaf and your whole body goes cold. Aloe vera may look harmless, but the ASPCA lists aloe vera as toxic to cats and dogs if they chew or swallow it. People hear about aloe gel being used on human skin, so they assume the whole plant is gentle and safe. That is not a great assumption. If you live with a pet that ignores plants, maybe this is not a daily problem. But if your pet treats every pot like a snack bar, aloe vera may not be worth the stress. In that kind of home, the question is not, is aloe pretty? The question is, can I keep it completely out of reach every single day? Not most days, every day. If you already own aloe and you have pets, this does not mean you need to panic and throw it away. Be practical. Put it somewhere truly inaccessible. And if you ever suspect a pet has eaten part of it, call your vet or a pet poison hotline. A houseplant should not make your home feel like a tiny security operation. For some people, that alone is enough reason to choose a different plant. The fifth reason is the healing plant myth. This one is delicate because aloe vera really does have a long reputation as a useful plant. People love the idea of a living gel source on the windowsill, but the internet has made aloe sound like a miracle in a pot. People claim it helps with burns, acne, dry skin, hair masks, drinks, glowing skin by Friday. The promises get louder until the actual plant disappears behind the myth, and that is a problem. Aloe is not a medical product just because it is sitting in your kitchen. Fresh aloe gel and aloe latex are not the same thing. The clear gel inside the leaf is what most people think about. The yellowish latex under the skin is different, and it can be irritating or unsafe in the wrong context. Even with the gel, skin can react. Natural does not mean automatically gentle. Poison ivy is natural, chili peppers are natural. Your skin does not care whether something came from a leaf if it happens to irritate you. So, if your main reason for buying aloe vera is to use it as a home remedy for everything, slow down. Enjoy the plant. Learn about it. Be careful with your skin. If you choose to use fresh gel externally, be cautious and test a tiny area first. And if your skin is sensitive, the burn is serious, the wound is open, or the problem keeps getting worse, talk to a medical professional instead of trusting a leaf on your windowsill. And please, do not start eating or drinking parts of a houseplant because someone online made it sound harmless. That is not fear. That is respect. The plant deserves it, and so does your body. The sixth reason is that aloe vera may not give you the look you are imagining. This one is less scary, but it matters. A lot of people buy aloe because they saw a perfect photo, a neat rosette, clean leaves, bright windowsill. Everything looks quiet and expensive. Then they bring one home and real life happens. One leaf gets a brown tip, another has a scar from shipping. The plant produces little offshoots at odd angles. The pot starts looking crowded on one side and empty on the other. Aloe vera is not always symmetrical. It is not always lush. And if what you want is a fast, dramatic plant that fills a blank wall or makes a room feel instantly fuller, aloe may disappoint you. This plant is more like a quiet object with a pulse. It can be beautiful, but it is not a fast decor hack. It does not spill down a shelf like pothos or throw giant leaves like a monstera. Its beauty is sharper, slower, more desert window than leafy corner. And if that is your taste, perfect. But if you are buying aloe because you want quick visual impact, or because a photo made it look like a tiny sculpture that will stay perfect forever, you may be setting yourself up for irritation. The plant will change. Leaves will age. It may lean toward the light if you forget to rotate it. It may need repotting. It may look a little imperfect because it is alive. This sounds obvious, but it is why some people quietly resent their houseplants. They wanted an object. They received a living thing with opinions. Aloe vera has opinions. The seventh reason is winter. Winter is where good aloe care goes bad. In summer, maybe your plant sits near a bright window. The room is warm, the soil dries quickly. You water deeply, let it drain, and everything seems fine. Then winter arrives. The light gets weaker, the window gets colder, the soil stays damp longer. The plant slows down, but you keep doing the same thing. Same watering rhythm, same amount, and suddenly the plant that handled July starts suffering in January. This is the part people miss. Indoor plant care is not one fixed recipe. It changes when the room gets darker, when the air gets cooler, and when the soil stops drying as fast as it did in summer. Aloe vera especially punishes autopilot care, not dramatically at first, quietly. A softer leaf, a base that feels less stable, soil that still feels cool and damp a week after watering. And because the symptoms are subtle, people often do the exact wrong thing. They water again. That is the moment the story turns. The main secret with aloe vera is not fertilizer, coffee grounds, or a viral kitchen hack. The secret is learning to read the conditions before you act. Do not ask, how often should I water aloe vera? Ask, how fast is my plant actually drying out? Do not ask, can aloe live in my bedroom? Ask, how much bright light reaches that spot for real, not in my imagination? Do not ask, is aloe easy? Ask, is my home the kind of place where a dry-loving succulent can relax? Aloe vera is not hard in the way a dramatic fern is hard. It is tough, but only in a very specific direction. It's tough against dryness, not against wet soil. It can be useful when handled with care, beautiful when you accept its slow, imperfect growth, but it starts losing slowly when you expect it to behave like a permanent decoration. So here's the honest test. Aloe vera may suit you beautifully if you have a bright window, you can resist the urge to water too often, you use a pot with drainage, and you do not need your plant to look flawless every day. You may want to skip aloe vera if your home is dark, your pets chew plants, your favorite pots have no holes, or your caring style is basically, when in doubt, water. Choosing not to buy aloe vera does not mean you are bad with plants. It may mean you are getting good at choosing plants for the life you actually live. That is the shift. A lot of people buy houseplants based on a fantasy version of their home. Perfect sunlight, perfect shelves, calm pets, and a person who always remembers exactly what each plant needs. But plants do better when we choose them for the real home, the one with the north-facing window, the cat on the counter, the decorative pots with no holes, the busy weeks, the winter darkness. Aloe vera can be wonderful. For the right person, it is calm, sculptural, and forgiving, but in the wrong setup, even a tough plant starts losing slowly. Once you stop asking, what is the easiest plant, and start asking, what plant fits my habits, everything changes. You stop blaming yourself for every yellow leaf. You stop buying plants because the internet said they were impossible to kill. That is how you get better with plants, not by being perfect, but by matching the plant to the room and the care routine to the actual conditions. So before you bring aloe vera home, look around. Where would it really sit? How much light does that spot get on a normal weekday? And are your habits actually good for a plant that wants dryness more than attention? You do not need to answer perfectly, you just need to answer honestly. If aloe fits your home, it can be a beautiful, low-drama plant to keep around for years. If it does not fit, that's not a failure, that's information. And it might save you from buying a plant that was never going to be happy in your home. So now I want you to be honest. Is aloe vera really right for your space, or will it quietly hate your apartment? Tell me in the comments because I'm genuinely curious. And finally, I want to say this. The best houseplant is not the one everyone says is easy to grow. It is the one that truly fits you. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please support it with a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You have no idea how much your support means to me. See you in the next videos.